I, Syeda Alisha,
and I, Abdul,
welcome you all to the Cluster Meet Western Zone Deep Debate Seniors 2022-23.
Today we are having brilliant students who compete in a debate competition and share their views and opinions.
We have before us a group of exemplary debaters who have been selected among numerous students from Indian schools all over the western region of KSA. They will be exhibiting their skills, challenging their opponents to a war of words. The best 3 teams will qualify for the final round of Cluster Meet debate competition.
Allow me to introduce the topic for today's war of words. Vocational and technical training is more valuable for promoting the economy than standard university education. As we start the proceedings of the debate, we would like to brief you all about the rules and regulations. 1. The order of the speech for each team will be decided by drawing lots. Each participant will be given a group number which will figure in the judge's evaluation sheet. 3. The participants should not reveal their names or identity at any time during the speech. 4. The decision made by the panel of judges will be final and indisputable.
The specific codes of conduct that students must adhere to are as follows. The speaker must conform to a formal mode of speech. Direct criticism and controversy should be avoided. The speaker must abstain from criticizing the rules, customs and practices of the host country. Sex and religion must not be broached in an offensive manner. The speakers must strictly adhere to the dress code. The speakers must adhere to a courteous manner.
Listen carefully as we brief you all on the modus operandi of the debate. Each speaker will be allotted 3 minutes to deliver their speech with a grace period of 15 seconds to conclude their speech. The first bell will be rung at the end of 3 minutes. The second bell indicates the expiry of the grace period, which is 3 minutes and 15 seconds. The third and final bell will be rung at the end of 3 minutes and 20 seconds. If the participant continues to speak after the third bell, it will result in their disqualifications. Participants are not allowed to carry material related to their speech to the podium at any cost.
The evaluation scale is as follows. Analysis of the topic, 10 points. Diction, delivery and presentation, 10 points. Relevance of the subject matter, 10 points. Evidence and illusion, 10 points. Logic and reasoning, 10 points. Rebuttal, 10 points.
Healthy debating enforces critical thinking principles, looking at things from different angles with increased perspective and less prejudgment. In all debates, let truth and only truth alone be the aim, not victory or unjust interest. May I now invite the for and against teams to take their respective positions on the stage.
Dear audience, take a deep breath, fasten your seatbelt. As the highly electrifying war of words begin, may the best team win. I now request the first participant, F1, to enlighten us with her speech.
Had Steve Jobs not dropped out of college, we would have been eating an apple rather than holding the apple. Assalamu alaikum and a delightful morning to you all. Vocational and technical training is more valuable for promoting the country's economy than standard university education. This is a $1 million question and I strongly favor the opposition. The late President, Missile Man of India, Iisj Abdul held umpteen number of degrees. Do you think that these degrees revolutionized India's economy? Nay, it was due to Kalam's ability to hone his skills and practical knowledge that has made all the difference. Why is it that even after the advancements of universities and colleges, according to Wikipedia, there still remains more than half of the population unemployed? Sadly, friends, university and then earning a rapid salary income. Rise and awake, my worthy opponents. A degree holder without the necessary skills is like a butcher with no knife. He may have the knowledge of a different meat, but doesn't have these tools to chop and earn his living. I strongly believe that those unfortunate degree holders without the necessary technical training are soon to be found in a financial gutter. Friends, the world is rapidly progressing. India is taking swift strides in artificial intelligence, hiring people with beneficial hand-on skills, and not hiring them based on a mere paper demonstrating that you've successfully stuffed 30 elephant-sized textbooks into your brain. Let us recommend a quick fix to promote the economy. Why not provide the poor and marginalized sector with vocational and technical training for 2 years? Envelop them with work-related experience and then employ them into technical institutes. Problem solved. Dear audience, when my opponents talk about just merely earning a living, I talk about leading a good and flexible life. When they focus on mugging textbooks with zero experience, I talk about enhancing people's experience by honing their skills. When they stand for education mostly for the rich, I stand for quality and vocational courses accessible to all. I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, F1, for proposing your opinion.
I now call upon A1 to take a stand on the podium.
Grades, certification, merit this world's attention. Meanwhile, mediocrity and uncertainty haunt those that do not get schooled. Good afternoon, respected judges, teachers, and all my dear friends. Today I stand before all of you to ask what I believe is a very simple question. Do you want a person who has in-depth knowledge, critical thinking skills, interpersonal skills acquired through higher education, or a person who has not even experienced what it is to think together, work together, and how to deal with problems as a leader at the helm of your economy? Economy, my dear friends, itself is a very broad topic, not thought upon anywhere except higher education, and yet there are still some people here who would like to tell me otherwise. It's like saying, I want to become a doctor, but I don't like studying biology. Do you realize how crazy that is? One point I've always heard my worthy opponents say, respectfully, like it's glued to their tongue. You don't need to go to college to be successful in life. Look at Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, they were dropouts, sure. Some of the dropouts do end up somehow succeeding in life, but ladies and gentlemen, that does not negate by any means that nearly 94% of them do not, and around 60% of them don't even come close to earning as much as college graduates do. And as a side note, people like Bill Gates were Harvard University dropouts, not from some XYZ colleges. People say, why do you need to learn mathematical and chemical equations, this, that, XYZ, when it might not even help me in the future? I say it might not help you in the future, but it definitely creates a tendency for higher order thinking skills, and that's what a college aims for. Steve Jobs, one of the people highly idolized and the worthy opponents here, himself said it. You don't connect the dots looking forward, you only do connect the dots looking backwards. Sure beats me to just do your craft over and over again, repeating it until you get good at it. And even then, with the introduction of artificial intelligence in the equation, even that's not necessary anymore. Imagine spending 4 whole years of your life opting for a technical course suitable for a single type of job, only to realize that that workforce is now dominated by AI. I ask my worthy opponents, what will you do then? Anyways, I think I'll wrap up now by saying, education costs money, sure, but my dear opponents and all my dear friends, ignorance costs a lot more. Thank you.
presenting your views.
Next to take over the dais is F2.
How will a dental hygienist be able to detect diseases in patients? How will the plumber assemble the pipes properly? And how will my worthy opponents be able to contradict themselves if it wasn't for the vocational trainings they received? Assalamu alaikum, and I will be speaking for the preposition. The economic well-being of any nation rests on the country's ability to create sustainable jobs for all. The manufacturing sector is the key driver of multiplier jobs created through value addition, which plays a significant role in contributing to the economic growth. University education cannot be useful for all and sundry. Most of the people do not study for getting intellectual heights, and though the society needs philosophers and scholars, however, people with such orientation are less in number. My worthy opponents, let me ask you, where do you go to when you're delusional? Like right now? To a psychologist. And how did you reach here from your homeland? In an aircraft controlled by a pilot. My fellow audience, let's note that a good healthcare system ensures a strong economy. In fact, their study showed that a mere 10% increase in life expectancy ensures an economic growth of around 0.4% per year. And aviation provides the only worldwide transportation network, which makes it essential for economic growth, particularly in the developing countries. And both the occupations that I've mentioned requires technical and vocational training. It is a known fact that there are more jobs for vocationally trained students in a country, creating the multiplier effect and thus boosting the economy. No wonder the employment rate of vocational school graduates stood over 95% for 10 consecutive years, while university graduates failed to get their jobs done and were forced to start up Italy and tea stalls. The demand for technical and vocational training is increasing as we move towards modernization. Did you know that investment in human capital, vocational and technical training was instrumental in contributing to the rapid economic growth of South Korea? We can for sure see the development in South Korea through the music taste of Gen Z and Jimin's picture behind most students' clear phone case. And now, those who agree with my opponent's struggle for attention, top marks, others use their basic knowledge, skill, and common sense to succeed in their training and get employed, while most college graduates don't seem to know how, when, or what to do. I conclude by reaffirming that vocational and technical training contribute more to the economy than standard university education. Thank you.
Thank you, F2, for voicing your opinion.
I now call upon E2 to present their views.
A man who has never been to school may steal a freight car, but if he has been to a university, he may steal the entire railroad. Formal greetings, honorable judges, faculty members, fellow friends, and my worthy opponents. Today, I am here to express my views on the topic. Vocational and technical training is more valuable in promoting the economy than standard university education. I say no. I stand here opposing this motion. Many people believe in a great myth. They think they can achieve success just by the art of doing it. But what they don't seem to bother about is the knowledge, which happens to be the basic foundation of any job.
Now, how many of you here have decided on your ambitions? So, which university are you all planning? Universities provide qualification recognition on a global basis. And what does vocational and technical training do? A low score when it comes to job competency and a low-paying job. Studies have shown that a university graduate earns about twice as much when compared to a person without a college degree, which in turn increases the annual GDP as well as the per capita income, which happen to be determinants of a developed economy. So it is evident that universities not only teach subject-specific skills, but also help an individual in shaping skills valuable to the economy as well as the employer. Now everyone here is aware of UNESCO. Can anyone question their credibility? No. Now the same UNESCO has proven my points upon their judgment that education eradicates poverty and hunger, ensures healthier life, promotes responsibility, inculcates a sense of empathy and tolerance, provides peace, justice and so much more. Now my question to the masses. What is the most valuable thing economy can possess? I repeat, what is the most valuable thing an economy can have? Well, if you really think about it, in an era in which the earth's shelf is at rapid decline, youth who are environmentally aware, cautious in consumption of goods and fuel, who have water management skills, are clearly going to be the most valuable asset of the economy. A report by Eurostat states that only 28% of companies apply for vocational technical training, which does not even contribute to half of the workforce. Promoting such a mode of education where there is mass unemployment is indeed a pathetic idea. Due to the advancement in universities in rural India, there is overall economic growth. Now, what to say? This is the reason Benjamin Franklin stated, investment in education pays the best. In conclusion, if future is a place and success is a destination, then shortcuts do not lead to places worth going. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, Abdul, for presenting your views.
Next in line is F3 to speak for the motion.
A high school certificate will never be considered. A 4-year university degree will never be sufficient. A day in future where only experience will matter. Respect judges, the audience, and my worthy opponents. Today I'll be speaking for the topic, vocational and technical training are more valuable in promoting the economy than the standard university education. So, vocational training, if you look at the meaning, a type of education that helps in gaining experience in interested path. After this, you get to be as a trade person, work as an artisan, or get your jobs even faster. Vocational training has made a difference in the lives of countless young people nationwide. It mainly helps to build self-confidence and leadership skills and plays a critical role in employability. The importance of vocational training courses can be summed up as the difference between practical skills versus theoretical knowledge. For instance, you might have seen students in standard university education spend hours of the time understanding and visualizing the boring theory text, but they significantly have much fewer opportunities to put this boring theory into actual work life. However, this problem gets solved by vocational training courses, as students spend their time not learning boring theory stuff, but on doing actual practical things which they are going to do in the future. According to the latest statistics, 224 million students have increased over the past 7 years, which is about 4% of the world's population. However, the increasing number of jobs is just 1.9%. Now this is a huge competition. For a while, just imagine that you are the job interviewer. Would you rather give the job to a person who just submits a piece of paper stating his degree completion like everyone else in the world, or to a person who has experience in that field, who has worked in that field before, who has done the practical work already? Obviously, the person who has done practical work, that is the person having vocational link. In order to prove what I said earlier, in the beginning of the year, a survey was conducted asking interviewers of specific field if they would prefer the students with vocational training courses or the student with university education. You will be shocked to know that 76% Yes, 76% of the interviewers said that vocational training students would be preferred. Reason? That they already had the much needed experience required for the work. According to another study of Times Higher Education of England, a study showed that on an average, the acceptance rate of vocational training students is much more than that of university students. In university, students just study for 4 years and they struggle for a job. What is this? After this, there is no way I would believe that vocational training is more valuable to the economy. So I would like to conclude my argument by saying a quote by Albert Einstein: "Information is not knowledge. The only source of knowledge is experience. You need experience to gain wisdom." Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, F3, for expressing your viewpoint.
Now, I call upon A3 to express their beliefs.
The reason of the existence of standard university education is not to teach you facts, but to rather make you understand why facts tend to exist. Good morning, honorable judges, respected audience, and my worthy opponents. Today, I'm going to be talking against the motion of the given topic. Well, I say, there is nothing worse than purposeless planning. Some people say that standard university education is useless and sundry. Well, I say, it's useless and sundry for you because you don't tend to understand the use of this standard university education. The people out there who claim to have been college dropout and passed their college through vocational and technical means fail to understand the use of this standard university education. This standard university education is the reason why we have top-tier doctors, professional lawyers, high-rated people who work for us day and night just to help us understand why we tend to exist, and they are teachers. This standard university education helps the teachers to understand the science psychology. Just because some people blame in standard university education for highlighting their talent doesn't mean that standard university education isn't eligible for everyone. Come on, just admit it. You are lazy. You don't want to even try. You don't want to even try giving in efforts than rather wasting your 2 years in just a small voyage after high school, which does not even diversify your knowledge, focuses on only one thing, which even isn't useful after the training means which you have. I don't know what more Muslims. You see, if you were to compare the latest statistics, around 224 million graduates. Note it, 224 million graduates. Oh, that's a lot of number. 224 million graduates have increased over the past 10 years. And in these 10 years, none of them got barely around 2.4% jobs. And who filled up these spots? Who filled up these spots? People who have done nothing other than 2 or 3 year voyage after high school, such as technical and vocational means. Well, I strongly disagree that fact, vocational and technical terms are used in today's modern generation to promote the economy. I say it's useless. If you were to look into today's Indian economy, the world's population, the 4% from 224 million, isn't anywhere near 7% of Indian population. Many people in India have top-tier degrees and still unemployed, struggling to find jobs. And who fills up their spots? People who have done nothing other than technical and vocational training. Well, I say, every student must have core equitable foundational skill. Lastly, ending my argument, it comes down to a quote by John Dewey. He stated that vocational and technical training are for animals and slaves. It fits them to the cause in the distribution. Thank you.
Thank you, A2D, and we can feel the excitement in the air.
To keep up the spirit, here comes F4.
Educating our mind without educating our heart is not education at all. So how can we educate our heart? Through practical skills till our heart falls in love with it. Honorable judges, fellow opponents, and all my dear friends, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to one and all gathered here. I stand here firmly for the motion of the topic, vocational and technical training is more valuable for promoting the economy than standard university education. As you all are aware, in the past decades, the role of education has become more and more important to a person's career and future more than ever. But we often neglect the true desire and the true passion of our hearts, and we tend to learn something that we're not truly passionate in. Now, where would this lead us to? This would lead us to not being perfect at our crafts. And there is a common misconception that university education is all that is required to becoming successful in our lives and to having the sustainability and the uprising in our economy. And I say no. I am here to dispel this fact and to prove our vocational education is an engine for economic growth. Firstly, let's talk about how exactly can vocational education lead to the uprising and the sustainability in our economy. As you all know, the main aim of the vocational training program is to hone and perfect the art of a particular skill that we have chosen. This excludes all the unimportant topics and focuses mainly on the particular skill. Now, where would this lead us to? The answer is pretty obvious. Students in the vocational courses can get job ready and would have far more experience in a much lesser time, ultimately resulting in the stability of our economy. Moving on, one of the most important problems our economy has to face in the past 2 years is a huge decrease in the rate of unemployment. According to research made by The Guardian, over 255 million people have been left unemployed. What does this show us? A huge chunk of these people either do not possess the right degrees or do not have the necessary skills and requirements they propose in employers. My third and final point, a huge problem that is faced by almost each and every single country in this world. Youth unemployment, and how can vocational education overcome this? According to studies, over 14.9% is the projected range of the rate of youth unemployment. And what does this show us? Youth unemployment has become more and more common, and overcoming this would lead to a better, would lead to higher income and better living standards. All in all, in conclusion, I would like to say that vocational and practical technical training is the key to the security of our economy. These days you find engineers who are chefs, who are cab drivers, and so many well-studied people who have insecurities with their jobs due to the lack of experience. And together, through vocational training, we can overcome this. Thank you.
Thank you, F4, for conveying your perspective.
Here comes our final participant, A4, to advocate her sentiments.
We live in an age of one reason. With the onset of telecom industry driving to the path-breaking development of internet, people probably, if it could result in an economic birth, and yes, it did. Innovations, they've seen more close ties with the economy than ever. A very good afternoon to one and all. In an age of logical reasoning, backed up with science, debate on implementing the techniques that existed in the pre-phase of civilization just tells why it's not right, as well as not ethical, for the era in which we find ourselves in. Well, the people who had lived 2,000 years ago seem to have given the right acknowledgement.
Thank you, A4, for expressing your views.
And with this, we come to the end of the first session of the much-heated debate. Those were truly thought-provoking and enlightening arguments that have indeed created a buzz all around. The power of real debate is in the language and intellectual honesty of the debaters, alongside the engagement of the audience.
Now let's proceed to the highly anticipated rebuttal round. The rebuttal is essentially an attempt to contradict or disprove an argument begin by offering up counter-arguments or countervailing proof. Before we proceed, let's review the rules for rebuttal speeches.
Rebuttal is countervailing the pieces of evidence and rationale proposed by the opponents. It should not be an extension of the main speeches. The speakers will be given a 5-minute interval for the preparation of the rebuttal. Each speaker will be given 1 minute and 30 seconds for the rebuttal. The order followed for the main speeches will be followed for the rebuttal session 2. Participants are now allowed to carry material related to rebuttal onto the podium. Participants, your time starts now. The audience is kindly requested to remain silent as the participants will now begin to prepare their counter-arguments. I now request F1 to come and reassert her opinion.
I'm stunned at how flimsy the points my opponents have put forward are. One of my opponents stated that artificial intelligence is now growing and hiring degree holders due to their critical thinking. Wise opponents, I hope you have rechecked your resources because according to CNBC, vocational and technical training are actually being hired by the artificial intelligence workforce. And not those workforces which help in cramming biolab, practical lab codes and everything that are useless just for your mind. Moreover, don't be surprised if I tell you that China is now increasing its promotion of vocational training in schools, and that is one reason why they have the most productive children in the whole entire world. Seems like the wheel in my opponent's mind is still running, but the hamster is dead. One of my opponents asked us which universities we would be going to. My worthy opponents, the question is not whether we will be going to universities. It is about whether we will be able to promote the poor and help them, give them technical skills and raise the economy of the country. And that is due to vocational training because mind you, not all people are fortunate enough to shell out money for a mere degree. Think about that. My opponents wish to build a skyscraper when the screws are bit loose. I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, F1.
The next participant, A1, will now take over the podium.
Afternoon once again. My worthy opponents here are painting a very different picture as opposed to what the reality of the situation is. Listening to all of my opponents, I've already heard the word degree being thrown around like a child trying to convince their parents to buy them a new toy. A degree is not a toy and definitely not worthless. If you go to an interviewer telling him a high-paying job company and tell them that you don't have a degree but some technical experience, they'll probably be laughing and pitying you. Despite what they have been yapping about, college does end up giving technical and practical knowledge anyway, though I can't say the same about technical institutes. There you go, end of debate. You know, my opponent's points are like that scene in Vice Kings. Never mind, too irrelevant. Education is like a building. If you don't have the necessary technicals, if you don't have the necessary theoretical base, how can you build a technical structure on it? And vocational brilliance guarantees but a moment of triumph. Most of the time, such people ride on a wave of luck, basking in their glory, which are few and far between. Thank you.
Thank you, A1.
We now call upon F2 to express her views.
I don't have the patience nor the crayon to explain this to you, but I'll try. One of my opponents stated that there are more job opportunities. No, know, there are no job opportunities and low-income jobs for vocational and technical training. Let me tell you, some of the highly paid jobs in technical and vocational courses are construction manager, elevator installers, radiation therapists, nuclear medicine technologists, and the list goes on. Moreover, high income don't contribute more to the economy than more jobs. More jobs creates the multiplier effect and thus contribute to the economy. And nowadays, plumbers and electricians earn more income than an average doctor or an engineer. One of my other opponents stated that satellites will not leave an inch unless it's operated by a graduated lineup. Do you think vocational training wasn't included here? For that satellite to be there, it has to be created by someone who knows more than just theory. Unless he can do what Harry Potter does with his wand, it wouldn't be possible without vocational training. Engineering degree for being successful. This is what I heard the most. Successful. Engineering. Did you know that 94% of IT graduates in India are unemployable according to Tech Mahindra? Do you think the degree made them successful? My worthy opponents, don't be swayed by my opponents' honey-dripping words. At the end of the day, a monkey draped in silk is still a monkey.
Thank you, F2.
I now call upon A2 to present her rebuttal against the motion.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard both sides of the coin. I actually don't like arguing. I agree with my opponents, but then to prove both of us wrong, that's not how it works. My worthy opponent stated how vocational and technical training helps hone and perfect the art of specific skills. Skills valuable today might go obsolete tomorrow, making an individual an unresourceful and unemployed person. If you only depend on vocational and technical training, it is no less than standing on soil that's eroding. I love the way how my opponents very confidently admitted that Steve Jobs, despite being a college dropout, turned out to be successful. Let me make it clear, just because he was a dropout doesn't mean he was educationally backwards, nor did he ever go for any vocational training. According to my opponent, if vocational and technical training is an engine for the economic growth, I say university degree is the fuel used for running the engine. My esteemed opponents, according to a study by International Adult Literacy Survey, which gives a clear idea that there are 72% of companies who require or demand for freshman jobs. My opponent has also stated that university is a slow, lengthy 4-year process. I fear they might have forgotten that in the race between the rabbit and the tortoise, it was the slow and steady tortoise that won the race. We're not here trying hard to prove our points, since I'm pretty sure all of us, including my worthy opponents, will end up in universities. They say light travels faster than sound. No wonder my opponents ended up looking so brighter even before they started speaking that you, before clapping and cheering for the brighter ones, choose the smarter ones. Thank you.
Thank you, A2, for your wonderful words.
We now call upon F3 to insist on his claims.
Arguments. I hate arguments. I avoid, but arguments like me, I can't avoid. So respected judges, audience, and my worthy opponents, good morning once again. So I heard one of my friends saying, university provides respect and gives reputation. Oh really? This role is an example. There are millions of graduates who are unemployed and who are graduated in these universities, sorry, let me correct myself, graduated in these respected, reputed universities and who are unemployed. There are millions of engineers who work in Starbucks, McDonald's, Uber. Why? Because this respected degree did not give them a job in their own field and did not help them compete the competition. And I heard one of my opponents saying, university education promotes responsibility. Seriously. Now I ask you a question. Do you think By a whole boring book increases responsibility, or doing actual work increases responsibility. Another point about diversification, that vocational training does not promote diversity. John Hanks once said, "I would rather become a professional in a single subject than have a little bit knowledge in everything." Thank you.
Thank you, F3.
We now call upon A3 to reaffirm his argument.
Well, good afternoon once again. As my worthy opponent stated some points, now I'm going to be popping their arrogance. Well, one of you stated that abroad studies are not useful, but vocational and technical trainings help around 72% people get their jobs. Well, I say, prove me wrong. Drop out from your scholarship plans which you plan for tomorrow and prove it to me, get into some diplomatic courses and prove it to me by getting a high-tier jobs. And I will say that you are right. Well, you see, Donald Trump tweets are way better than their point. Now at this point, I'm going to start liking Donald Trump's tweets rather than their points. Well, you see, good flexible lifestyle doesn't depend on the money. Good flexible lifestyle doesn't depend on the money. It depends if you're satisfied with what you have, what you're working for. If what you wanted is satisfied at the last moment, which you were trying for. John, dear John, where are you at? Would you please come down and tell them why you suffered a lot and at the end, told the world that vocational and technical means are nothing other than a cog in a technical machine or industrial machine that tends to work the same way the morning and the night. In a nutshell, I'll make it easy. I'm saying that technical and vocational means are nowhere near university education. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, A3, for affirming your views.
Here comes F4 to educate his sentiments.
Good afternoon to everyone once again. Now, I would like to take the time to contradict a few points that were raised by my worthy opponents. One of the major points stated by the opposition team was that students with university education earn more than their vocational counterparts. I firmly say no to this. Recently, many leading companies such as Google, Netflix, Tesla, Facebook and so much more have changed their mindset on the requirement of degrees. And you can probably see where I'm going with this. With the lesser requirement of degrees as time goes by, it is an inevitable fact that these companies will start focusing more on the skills and experience rather than a piece of paper which holds little to no value when it comes to actual skills. Yet another speaker of the opposition stated that university education gives recognition on a global level. Sure, this may be true, but does it really secure jobs on the same global level? It might be harder for us to get these jobs. But at the end of the day, who would be more prone to losing their jobs? Well, I'll definitely tell you that it is in the one with the vocational training, as no company would fire an employee who has perfected his skills. The final point I would like to contradict was raised as that vocational training, we're not able to explore diversity in our subjects. We might not be able to do that, but instead of focusing on multiple different areas, we're able to focus on a more specific field, and it ultimately results in us being more skilled than them. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a nice day.
Thank you, F4.
Here comes our final participant, A4, to deliver his rebuttal.
Well, my friends, after a farrago of storming, distortions, deflections, and rows of false accusations, by my opponents, I greet you once again. My friends were supposed to give the good side of vocational training, but they went on to talk about the dark side of standard university education. Well, that's what they call as arguing. It's hard time to understand why my opponents have built such misconceptions based on the misrepresentation being a separate entity. If truth be told, it is an integral part of university education. To correct some of my opponents, engineers have 2 years of theory classes, the rest filled with practicals, projects, and more importantly, interns. Well, that's what we call as vocational training. Unemployment is majorly because of vocationally trained employees, unlike what one of my opponents proposed. In fact, the Ministry of Empowerment states that about more than 60% of graduates directly influence economy. Just because vocational training is some type of education doesn't mean that every hip shakes become dance. Thank you.
Thank you, A4. And with that, this electrifying debate has come to an end.
It is rightly said that thoughts transform into words, and words, when put into action, change the course of the world. Today, this debate has indeed transformed our thoughts.
I now invite our esteemed judge, Dr. Ibhab Alam Khan, to speak a few words on the grand occasion.
Assalamu alaikum. I am here once again. I'll take a few minutes and I'm going to share something very important. It will definitely not be related to vocational training or university education, but education in general. The respected Dr. Muzaffar Hassan, vice principals, HMs, my colleagues, students, and participants. In Arabic, there is a very famous saying, Al-ilm nur. Education is light. The light that discriminates between ignorance and literacy. A light that guides you to the right path. So education is extremely important to know what is right, what is wrong, what is proper, what is improper, what is wise, what is virtue, what is modest, what is immodest, what is legal, what is illegal, what is ethical, what is unethical. So this is a kind of tool that you can use to live your life in a very proper manner. I don't know if anyone is aware of Sanskrit, but I would like to quote a stanza in Sanskrit. I'll translate that. Yesham na vidya na tapo na danam jnanam na shilam na gulo na dharma te mrattaloke bhui bharabhuta manushya rupe nirgascharante. Those who do not have tap is tapasya, worship. Jnanam, jnan is knowledge. Danam is charity. Te mrattaloke, they in this world are just like a deer which has fragrance in itself and it doesn't know where the fragrance comes from. That is the translation of this stanza. Now coming back to education and vocational education, to me, education is life and life is education. There has been a philosopher who went on going even to the extent that the difference between educated and uneducated is the difference between a man and an animal. The difference between an educated and uneducated is the difference between alive and dead. So that is the philosophy behind education. Now, most of the participants could not understand the essence of vocational education. They missed it because they were not taught. I know because I was taught vocational education. The main difference between education and vocational education is the time period. Education is a long-term education. It takes a lot of time. 23 years, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. You do a PhD, you consume a lot of time, while your family is not able to support you. So what will you do? You will just do 12th class and get into a vocational training program, pass out the course, get a job, support you and your family, and then later on think about your higher education if you are able to. That is the essence, that is the difference between education and vocational education. Now I'm going to negate both education, university education and vocational education. Maulana Azad, the first Union Education Minister of Independent India, he was neither educated in a university nor trained in vocational training or vocational course. But he was chosen the first Union Education Minister of Independent India to set the basis of education in India, despite there were many people who were equally able to. Why was the decision made when he was not formally educated in university? And he was the man who proposed to delink the degrees from the jobs. Delink degrees from the job means no matter you have a certificate, you cannot get a job unless you prove your worth. That was the concept. Now, to be very frank, I have a very strong reservation about the term educated. There is a huge difference between the term educated and qualified. I have a PhD degree, but I may not be educated, and I speak from this podium, and this is true. My wife always says that your all degrees are useless, you don't know the basic etiquettes. And I sincerely realize that sometimes I fail to maintain the dignity and decorum of an educated person, because I am not actually educated, but I am highly qualified. So, similarly, there are many educated people on the road, but they are not literate. I drink Pepsi, open the window, throw on the road. And I am educated. To be very frank, I am not educated, I am not even literate, I am not socially literate. And this is in one of the, in our modern education policy, in 2020, that fundamental literacy is very important. Fundamental literacy doesn't mean calculations and writing the postal address and so on. Ability to realize what should be done in normal part of life or ways of life. Now, who would go to vocational training and who would go to university education, that is something very important. Sometimes our parents force us to join university education while we are not able to continue with. Now I give you an example. If you ask a fish to climb a tree, you ask an elephant to climb a tree, you ask a bird to swim, it won't be possible. What is the essence? You have to identify the potential of the candidate as to who would go to the university system and who would join the vocational training, so that you are not going to waste your precious time and money, energy and so on. So the diagnosis of the difficulties, identification of abilities are important in order to decide as a parent, as a teacher, as even myself as a candidate, to join university education or vocational training. That is something very, very important. But in the end, education is important. If we are not educated, we are missing something. And this is what International School Jeddah is trying hard to propagate and fulfill the need. That's all. Thank you very much.
I now invite Hari Imran Khan to speak a few words on this occasion.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, respected principal of this wonderful institution, Dr. Muzaffar Hassan, controller of examination, Mr. Abdul, Mrs. Farah ma'am, Principal of Girls Section, Iisj, esteemed faculty members of 9 to 12th Block, Iisj, and respected faculty members of different visiting schools. At this platform, I'd like to welcome all of the schools coming to this wonderful, wonderful arena. If you travel around the whole city of Jeddah, at least you'd not find such a wonderful host auditorium. So big round of applause to Iisj. Secondly, as a judge, I don't feel appropriate, even though the topic is a very, very interesting topic and it is truly a debatable topic. On a different occasion, I would love to talk about the topic at length because it is a very interesting topic. However, at this juncture, I'd like to congratulate all of you. Nobody is a winner, nobody is a loser. All of you are winners because it takes lots and lots of courage and encouragement that you come and speak on this podium. So once again, I wish all the students the very best. Keep working hard and the journey has begun. This is not the end. The trophy that you see behind us, that's the trophy only for this occasion. Try to get the trophy of life. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your motivating words, sir. I now invite Mr. Ram Narayan to speak a few words on this occasion.
Respected Principal Dr. Alisha I as a faculty and the other faculties of the schools, students. After my co-judge, Dr. Intiqam's words, there's very few things I can highlight here. He stressed on the one major factor: education. Educate yourself. That is what I wanted to see today in our esteemed debaters. They were excellent, no doubt about that. They made the points, but they missed out on certain points. As my other co-judge, he said, you have to understand this field which is vast. You have to delve into the subject, and I would say the teacher or the organizer, through your Googling, by giving you this subject, where you said vocational guidance and technical guidance as well as university degree, and linking it to your economy. These are very diverse areas, and it will be difficult for children to, link all these three and project it. Because, as Dr. Intiqam said, vocational means a short-term course, getting skill set. Degree means you are to stay a longer course where you adapt, and as our principal said, learn motor skills. You get the movement of the intelligence logically to solve or look at challenges and overcome obstacles. That is what an essence of a degree is. A vocational guidance or a vocational training provides you with a skill set. And in today's world, even with a degree, you need vocational training. I will use myself as a live example. I studied BSc Physics. I wanted to be a pure scientist. I would have been a very bad pure scientist. I would have blown up India with the nuclear bomb or anything like that. But I couldn't make it because I didn't get the relevant first class degree. I got a second. My father said, see, in that time at least we could divert ourselves to take another course. I took law. But while doing law, I got into media. I learned these skills on the job. So basically, I was earning a degree or 2 degrees, but learning a set of skills, a new skills, which became my livelihood. This is what happens, this is what life teaches us. That you have to constantly upgrade yourselves. You constantly, the skill sets have to grow. Even today, when I started in media, it was only paper and pen. Then, computers came. So I had to learn computer at the age of 15. I learned it. I became very proficient in it. Then, digital technology went so wide that social media has overtaken everything in my life. So I have to learn how to create social media. That means my digital skills today grew only because of my degree in physics, because it taught me to think logically. It enhanced my motor skills. So, in a way, you need both. And this is where our children need to understand one thing. They would have made a point where the degree took Sundar Pichai to be the Google chief, whereas Steve Jobs broke up and he got it now. That is better than Newton's apple. So, I'll round off as what Dr. Intikab said. Educate yourself with a degree or without a degree, but gain knowledge. And knowledge can be gained from anywhere. Seek and you will become better. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your meaningful advice. As we await the results, we would like to introduce the vociferous speakers of the day.
F1, Fiza Ahmed, Al-Falah International School, DPS Jeddah. F2, Fatima Abdul Qadir, International Indian School, Jeddah. F3, Saif Sheikh, Radwa International School, Yambu. F4, Mohammad Shaza, New Al Farood International School, Jeddah.
Moving on to the against team. A1, Muhammad Ali Hamza, Al-Falah International School, DPS Jeddah. A2, Safa Sayyad, Al-Barood International Indian School, Jeddah. A3, Muhammad Safa Sakari, Radwa International School, Yambu. A4, Dinesh Kumar Srinivasan, Iisj.
I can almost hear the racing heartbeats of the participants and the audience.
Take a deep breath, keep your fingers crossed and brace yourself as the most awaited moment has finally arrived.
We would like to invite the principal of the whole school, Dr. Muzaffar Hassan, to declare the winners and give away the awards.
About the best speakers first, and I'm going to announce the best speakers who spoke for the motion, from the team who spoke for the motion. Best speaker, third position, Muhammad Shaza Parpura, New Al-Murud International School. Congratulations. The best speaker second position goes to Fatima Abdul Khader, International Indian School, Jeddah. Congratulations. And the best speaker goes to Fiza Ahmed from Al Falah International School, DPS Jeddah. Now moving on to the team that spoke against the topic. Best speaker, third position goes to Safa Sayyad from New Al Ghurud International School. Congratulations. Best speaker, second position goes to Muhammad Ali Hamza from Al Falah International, DPS Jeddah. And the best speaker, can you guess? Dinesh Kumar Srinivasa. And now the results of the winning team positions. The runner-up second position goes to Al Ghurud International School, Jeddah. I request the team and the teachers to kindly come up on the stage. Runner-up second position. The runner-up position goes to Al Falah International School, DPS Jeddah. The team, kindly please come forward along with your teachers. And the winning team. International Indian School, Congratulations to all the three teams. So International Indian School Jeddah, Al Falah International School DPS Jeddah and Al Ghurud International School Jeddah will proceed for the finals. Hearty congratulations.